The Public Work and Utility Committee to order for September 23rd. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Newell.
Present.
Vice Chairman Gata.
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Mills. Trustee Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Arnett.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum, and Trustee Palafis will be calling in. Next on the,
He is called in. He's on.
oh, it's Monday, sorry. Okay. I would like the approval of minutes for August 19, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any deletions or corrections? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Palafis.
Aye.
Chairman Newell.
Aye.
Chairman Gata. Vice Chairman Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
Okay, they are approved, no nays. Also, the approval of minutes for the September 9th, 2019 special meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no corrections or deletions, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Palafis.
Aye.
Chairman Newell.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed, no nays. Under new business, we have 3 items. The first one is request authorization to award contract for the 2019 Drainage Improvements Project to Da Vinci Construction Incorporated of Naperville, Illinois, which is the low bid, in an amount not to exceed $31,790.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there anything that we need to expound on, or nothing?
Just received a very favorable bid from a contractor who's done several projects for us. So
Okay.
happy to answer any other questions.
All right, seeing no questions, we have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Palafis.
Aye.
Chairman Newell.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed, no nays. Item number 2 is request authorization to, A, enter into a performance contract with Siemens Industry Incorporated for the replacement of residential and commercial water meters, conversion to LED streetlights, and the installation of an advanced metering infrastructure system. And B, pursue financing with a direct placement bond issue to be bid out by the village's municipal advisors, Spear Financial Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and Mr. Neville, would you like to expound on that, please?
I would. First off, I wanted to discuss kind of how we ended up where we are today. We noticed a number of years ago, staff noticed that we had an increasing amount of non-revenue or unaccounted for water between what we were purchasing from Jawa and what we were billing and bringing revenue in. Generally, when you have non-revenue water, you look for leaks or you look for inaccuracies in your metering. We did do we've done since about 2014-15, we did a full system leak survey. A number of years ago, we did catch a number of leaks and we corrected those, fixed those. And we've been doing leak surveys in various parts of the village every year ever since, and we continue to catch leaks. The next, I guess, low-hanging fruit on the tree for non-revenue water is checking the metering accuracies of the residential and commercial meters that are installed. We did this because we're now getting requirements through the IDNR, since we're a Lake Michigan water user. They've put a requirement of 10% non-revenue water for those that are taking Lake Michigan allocations. We're currently at 12 to 12.5% right now. So we're close, but we're not close enough. IDNR will essentially require us to do a plan, which we would probably hire a consulting engineer. They would come in, take a look. Did you do a leak survey? Yes. Have you done all these, checked all these other boxes? Yes, yes, yes. Have you changed your water meters out? Well, no, that's the big one. So essentially, we're seeing what's coming from IDNR as far as a requirement for us to have to take action. And we also felt that tightening up our non-revenue water is a good business decision as well. So We took a look at a performance contract. The performance contract model, it looks to pay for the cost of the project by the money saved or efficiencies gained. So these projects are generally water meters to improve the efficiency or improve the accuracy of the meters. They also look at energy-related projects if there's equipment or motors that are inefficient. It might, you make the capital to buy a new motor, and then the money saved with energy savings will pay for that motor over time. That's what we're looking at with the LED streetlights. LED streetlights are way more efficient than the high-pressure sodium and the metal halide that we currently have. There is a return on investment with the streetlights. With the water meters, we believe that the revenue gained from changing the meters out and accurately billing the residents will pay for the project over time. We did do a RFP process with a number of firms. It was a pretty extensive process. We took a look at a number of firms. We interviewed 3 firms. Staff moved forward with Siemens. We came to the Public Works Committee earlier this year and requested permission to move forward with the audit, where they actually came out and did replace a number of meters throughout the village. It was just under 70 meters. And then they were able to accurately put numbers down of what they believe our efficiencies are or our inefficiencies are with our meters. The project that we're requesting tonight has 3 components. It's obviously water meters is a big one. The installation of an AMI system, which in the agenda item kind of explains what it does. Essentially, we don't have to drive around and read water meters anymore, or every final in town, every time that there's a real estate closing, we send a guy out now to get a reading. Anytime there's a concern about a water leak, we send a guy out to go get a reading, that type of thing. So right now, the meters, with this system, the meters would be read continuously throughout the day, every day. And so water billing would be able to have much more accurate information to help customers deal with water leaks or deal with those type of things. As I said, we went through a pretty extensive process as far as selecting a firm. We went with Siemens. We felt they were the best fit as far as what our project components were. There were other well-known firms that we interviewed. Siemens has a lot of experience with water meters and also streetlights. So Siemens is here. They would like to make a presentation. If anybody has any questions before they start, feel free to ask me, or we can wait till they go. And
Okay. No questions?
All right.
Okay. If you'd like to state your name and address for the committee, and then go ahead.
where's the mic?
My name is Danielle Malone. I live at
Wait.
Excuse me, we need the microphone.
It's not on.
Danielle Malone. I live at 152 East Crescent Avenue in Elmhurst, Illinois. Thank you, Public Works Committee, for having us here tonight to present on the project that we've been working with staff over the last year or so. Let me get this put up. So again, my name is Danielle Malone with Siemens Industry. I'm a senior account executive for them. I've been with them for about 10 years now. I've got my team behind me. I have Jonathan Woods, he's our zone operations manager. Travis Steinmetz is our zone engineer. Aaron Perry is our zone project manager. And then I have Mike Padone, who is representing Neptune, which is the equipment that your staff has picked to install for the meters. Again, feel free to interrupt me and stop me along the way with questions. It's much better being more interactive than me just standing here presenting, so don't hesitate. So I'm going to start off with an overview of kind of what performance contracting is, what type of procurement it is, and why it's a good fit for doing a project like this. We'll also talk about your water meter system, the current and the proposed system. Joe did a great job of explaining the details of what you guys are looking to implement, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. Unless you'd like me to go further, just let me know. We'll also get into your street lighting, the current proposed systems that we're looking at there as well. We'll go through the financial analysis of the project and how this is going to financially impact the village when we get done with doing an installation like this. And then I'll review some of the Illinois projects that myself and my team behind me has worked on over the last 5 years, which are some of the surrounding communities near Hoffman Estates. So performance contracting, it's a legislative vehicle which allows local government entities to utilize their energy and operational savings to fund a project with guaranteed results. So what we do, as Joe explained, we come in, we identify different improvement measures that are going to drive energy savings or drive revenues that could be used to actually pay for the project. These projects are offered at a fixed cost. We don't come back with change orders. Whatever's defined in the contract is the contract cost. So if we find something in the field that we didn't identify ahead of time, we don't come back to the village and say, sorry, we missed this pipe, it's going to be an additional $5,000 or et cetera. The energy savings are guaranteed, and in your case, the meter accuracy of the installed meters would be guaranteed as well. And we'll get into more of that later in the presentation of how that guarantee and the warranties work. We come back and annually measure and verify that what we're saying in our cash flows, you're going to recognize as savings or revenue, you're actually saving and seeing the revenues increase as well. And if the guarantee is not met, Siemens is on the hook to cut a shortfall check for the difference. So as Joe put together the agenda, which I covered quite a bit in detail of your system, but existing, you've got about 16,600 meters currently, which are manually read monthly by your village meter readers. Most of a significant majority of your meter population is past its useful life, which is 20 years, and are going to begin to start to fail as years go on. Your public works currently replaces about 50 to 100 meters per year now because of malfunctioned or stopped meters or any other issues that may arise with them. The type of metering infrastructure that they're looking at is called the Advanced Metering Infrastructure, which is that AMI, which will utilize wireless technology to transmit the data and the consumption that's being used on a daily basis. It's a more efficient way to basically record your usage and billing for water meter systems today. It's new technology, but not too new. It's been proven.
One second. The AMI technology, it's another word, it's a fixed network. So essentially we're going to put antennas on top of the water towers, and we may have to put a couple of jumper locations and other locations where, village has property, or maybe the park district where we might need to put something where we actually read the meters through the antennas that are on the water towers. Similar to the cellular antennas that are on the towers now are actually utilizing our own water towers for our benefit and collecting the reads that way. That's how the system works.
Does anybody have any questions related to the technology?
Yeah, I do. How are you going to monitor 16,000 of these?
There's that many accounts, and so when the readings occur constantly, and it downloads directly into the count constantly. So let's say Mr. Gata calls from his house and says, I think I have a leak. They'll be able to look right then at what the consumption has been, right then, real time.
Real time.
Right.
And who so your department would be monitoring all of this?
Well, the data would go into a database that currently water billing has, which is under the finance department.
Correct.
So finance department right now, how we do it, we drive around town with an antenna stuck on top of a truck, and we get all of our readings. And that we have 16,600 meters still, and we're able to manage and maintain that and bill and the rest of that number now. Now it's just going to be automatic. We won't need to drive around anymore with that technology. It's just going to send a signal, every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Mike? 15 minutes? About every 15 minutes with what the reading is. So if the reading changes, whatever, we're not going to necessarily bill with that, but we're just compiling that data and storing that data so that if somebody has an issue, if somebody has a leak, finance and water billing would be able to go back and take a look at that data and see, what happened between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Right.
If they see the consumption go up, a pipe broke in my basement, and it happened at 3 a.m. they'll be able to go back and tell that with this system.
Excellent, thank you. Continue.
Trustee Mills.
Now, it's a wireless system that goes into the house, that's in the houses in the meter. The homeowner themselves do not need to have a wireless connection or anything else within the house,
No,
and so they don't need computer hookups or anything
Nope.
like that?
nope.
Okay.
The version of MIU that we're putting on now that goes on the side of the house, it just attaches to that. Or we do have a number of older MIU units that are on the sides of houses that have to be changed up to the new version of MIU so that it's compatible with this technology. But it's not different than we have already installed on all the meters throughout town.
Okay. I might be jumping ahead on this one, though, but how long is it going to take to bring all of them up to the new program?
To
Can-
change all the meters out and to all the MIUs and
Yeah,
So construction takes about 6 to 8 months total.
for all 16,000? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
that's an advantage of going with a firm like Siemens because they have the infrastructure set up and the team set up that they have a call centers, they have all those things that will take the appointments, schedule the appointments, they have the meter installers, all that goes through Siemens.
We give a full year for implementation, but the construction period of us actually being in homes is about 6 to 8 months.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I mean, I have a question, but I don't know if it's related to what you're talking about right now. Joe, the meters that we did as a test, are they bringing in more, or what are they showing different than what the old meters showed?
I think that's actually part of the presentation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's the reason for the basis of being able to go forward. Yes, I'll skip ahead if Danielle doesn't mind. They read about 92.5 to 93% accurate, but that means they're 6 to 7% low. So as a village, we're leaving, if you will, 6 to 7% of that billable water not billed for. And that savings, that additional revenue, actually pays for the cost of the project over time.
And these new ones are going to be 100% accurate? Is that-
They are, and they warranty and guarantee that, and they check it annually.
They warranty 98.5.
Yep.
Okay,
Right now, we're at 92.8.
all right.
And when you're selling billions of gallons of water, that's a significant number.
It adds up. Do you have cash flows in front of you? Did you? Yeah. Okay, we'll get to those, though. So any other questions on the technology piece of it? No? Okay. So as Joe mentioned, we're also looking at your street lighting. Currently, you have about 2,400 streetlights that are high-pressure sodium and metal halides. Staff identified a fixture that they like, which is the GE fixture, with a 7-pin connector for future control capabilities if you choose to want to add those later on. The operational savings, which is just a material savings, not a labor savings at all, is about $323,000 over the life of the contract, which is 20 years. And then in addition to that, the energy savings from going to a high-intensity discharge lamp to an LED lamp is $2.215 million over the life of the contract. Any questions about the streetlights? So this is a summary kind of what you're looking at in front of you, which is the cash flow, which I have in here as well, but we like to just kind of summarize it to show you what financially the project looks like to the village. So the estimated billing increase due to the accuracy, and this is all stemming just from the water meters, is $41 million over the life of the contract, which is that 20 years again. The operational savings, as I stated on the previous slide, are $323,000 for just the streetlights. The energy savings, again, are that $2.2 million. The total program benefits for the full cash flow is $43,545, and that's over the 20 years. Estimated project cost, this is turnkey. It includes labor, materials, project management, everything from start to finish. That's $9580651. You are going to be receiving a street lighting rebate from ComEd for $283,000. Once the project's complete, we would submit for that on your behalf and obtain those funds for you. We did include the financing here, which I don't believe you guys are going in that direction. I think you're more going in bonds, so that finance charge I don't think is accurate, because I think the bond rate you got was a little bit lower than what we used here. Then there's an ongoing maintenance and hosting cost for the contracts, which is hosting your data, which is a contract that would be between you and the manufacturer. So that over the 20 years is 1.8. So your total net benefit for this cash flow is $30 million over 20 years. All of the assumptions in the blue box to the right, this is what we use, that staff approved to use for these cash flows. We use your posted water rates that are posted online with a 3% rate escalation. For the existing meters, we used a 0.5 degradation, which is the AWWA standard that is used.
The AWWA is American Water Works Association, just in case.
Correct, sorry.
Alphabet soup.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
We also put in a 1% declining water usage, because, over time you will see residents decline with their water usage. We did 15-year on the financing, which doesn't really make a difference at this point. And then again, as Jim stated, the existing meter accuracy was that 92.82%, which is used in the cash flow. And then the proposed meter accuracy, which is 98.5%, is used for the 3/4 and the 1-inch meters. So you're looking at this cash flow that you probably have in front of you, which, unless you want me to, I won't walk through it unless you have questions. So I'm going to actually call up my operations manager to talk about the M&V.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Woods. So there's a lot of math here, by the way, so you asked me how much detail you want, but some of how we get into how these saving calculations come in is we tested, I think it was 68 or 69 meters, which is a statistical sample, and they averaged out about 92.8%.
Can you get a little bit more on the
Oh, sorry.
microphone? Thank you.
Sorry. Usually I'm loud enough without it. So they tested out about 92.8. We guarantee 98.5, which is, I think Mike can tell you, that the manufacturer guarantees 100% plus or minus 1.5%. So we take the low end of that, so we're somewhat conservative in our guarantee. So that 4% every year is what generates that $30 million over 20 years. How we prove, every year we will come out and we'll pull, it's a smaller sample, 11 meters typically every year, and we will test those meters and make sure they're within the range of the guarantee. If they're not within, we will test at our cost a larger, more significant sample. And if they don't test out, then we basically will come back and pay you that difference. So say, for example, after 3 years, we test the meters and they're 98% average. We're going to go look, and that 0.5% of your revenue that you're missing, we will make you whole on that on your consumption for that year, is how the guarantee works. Is there any questions on that? I think the next page is more the same, I believe. These are the actual numbers we were working for. The other thing is the meter guarantees up to 1 inch, the manufacturer guarantees, so the 5/8, 3/4, 1 inch are guaranteed 100% plus or minus 1.5% for 20 years with no degradation, which is the big difference between these meters and the old mechanical meters, which slow down over time because they have moving parts. These meters have no moving parts in them. And then on the slightly larger meters, the 1.5 and 2 inch meters, they're guaranteed for the same 98.5 for the first 10 years. And our guarantee backs up their guarantees with basically financial restitution if it doesn't get made. Any questions?
Okay, so this slide, I basically wanted to kind of compare and show you some of the other communities in the area that we've worked with. And we've done similar projects, actually exactly the same type of projects, water meters, streetlights, SCADA, and so forth. Buffalo Grove, Elmhurst, Palatine, Glenview, Lake Zurich. Combine them together, it's a total of about 68,000 meters total. We've done over the last 5 years, this exact team. We've used different manufacturers for the equipment that they'd like. 2 of them, though, we did use the same manufacturer that you guys chose as well. So we have experience working with that manufacturer as well. I don't know if you want me to get into detail from each one, but I do have a slide for each community that we worked with. If you're interested, Buffalo Grove was actually one of the ones that we did do their streetlights as well. We did their SCADA, their water meters, and so forth. Did you want me to get into detail of each one? I don't want to bore you.
I don't think we have
Okay.
to do every one. We have an idea, that was going to be one of my questions, what other villages, have you done the same type? And so far, it looks like you've already done 5 of those.
Yeah, and we're currently working in Oak Lawn as well, and we just got under contract with Oak Grove Village.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions, or are we good? Okay. Pardon me? Oh, go ahead.
Use your mic.
Sorry.
The total cost of the contract, you anticipate to be what?
9.5, so it's at the top left of the cash flow if you're looking at it. Here, I can show you on mine. So 9.5, 80651.
And that's composed of what?
That's the water meters and the street lighting.
Okay. How much for water meters and how much for street lighting?
Approximately about 1.7 for street lighting and 7.6 for the meter portion.
And the meter portion includes labor and product
Correct.
and meters?
Yep. And project management.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, seeing no other questions?
Hey, Anna.
Mr. Norris?
You got trustee Palafis on the phone.
Okay, I didn't know. Go ahead.
Our fire department uses a UHF mesh network. Are your Neptune meters going to use the same 900 band?
No. That was Jim, Gary, but no, that's one of the things we checked on in advance.
And our systems have the scalability to capture a data rate of 15 minutes compared to once a day?
The whole entire software will be changed out.
They're going to be holding the data in the cloud for us to a certain extent, and then it's going to, if I believe, then it'll integrate into our billing software, our current billing software that we're using. They'll be able to pull data off of that and populate our billing software with it.
So it's a SaaS-based system?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
So your software is software as a service? You're hosting it? Is it your cloud?
Yes,
The,
yes.
the manufacturer is hosting it, yes, not Siemens.
Okay. That's all, thanks.
Okay. All right.
So Part B of this, Part A was Siemens Industry for the meter change-out and the street lights. Part B is the recommendation to do a direct placement general obligation bond issue to be bid out by Spear. We looked at both a long-term lease from, I think Rachel went to 4 different banks and got rates from them. On the paper in front of you that was placed at the dais, you'll see one from Bank of America. That was the lowest. We also looked internally at what Siemens would charge us if they financed the project for us. And then we will talk to Spear about, we gave them all that data and asked them to analyze it for us. And what they came back with was that a GO bond was similar in terms of interest rates, maybe slightly more. But one of the things that both Mr. Janura and I were very concerned about, and the finance director was concerned about, was the rate lock agreement that you see under the lease transaction through Bank of America. That would mean we're basically stuck with that rate for the entire length of the financing. One of the beautiful things about a general obligation bond is that there is a call date built in, and that, as the board is aware, we've done bond refinancings in the past and achieved savings by doing that. By doing it through a GO, we preserve the option to do a refinancing in the future, should the rates be appropriate. The other part of it is, if you looked at the cash flow analysis, and I realize that you probably haven't had a lot of time to do it, there is an option, would be an option for the village at that point in time to potentially pay off the bond, or defease a majority of the bond issue, which we really didn't have under the Bank of America transaction. So that's why we're recommending the GO bond direct placement that Spear has also recommended. In case there are any other questions about that.
Okay, I think the only question I had, is there any grant type of offerings for any of this?
Just the ComEd.
Just the ComEd?
Right.
Okay.
We're already into IEPA for a couple $1 million worth of They don't do grants so much on water projects anymore. They're long-term, low-rate loans, but we already have a couple of those that we're receiving. We probably would not be considered, given the number we already have.
Oh, okay.
We're seeking low-interest loans through the state for painting 2 water towers, and then also rebuilding Golf Lift Station and rehabilitating Chippendale Lift Station. So all in all, with the state, we're looking, we're doing loans for those projects. So to finance a project like this through a low-interest loan, the rate we would get would probably be similar to the one that we're looking at with the bond.
It would be, and I have not seen the state do $9.5 million worth of to one community.
Would
They
they-
like to spread the money around,
Yeah, the street light wouldn't
qualify.
It would have to be the water meters only for that type of financing.
We'll continue to look, though,
Well, I'm
Always.
curious, you never know, right?
all right?
Okay, if we have no other questions, we have a first and a second on this. Now, do we want to vote on A as one and then B as a separate, or can we just do them together?
You can do them together, it depends on if that's what the motion was.
Yeah, the motion was for both.
Then you can do it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Plavas.
Aye.
Chairman Newell.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed, no nays. And thank you for your presentation, appreciate that. Thank you, Joe. Item number 3, request authorization to waive bidding and purchase 1 diesel exhaust fluid, a DEF, bulk containment unit using Sourcewell contract 040215-PGE discount from Blue Energy Equipment in an amount not to exceed $30,868.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? I think Joe went and discussed and gave us all the information on this previously one time or something, didn't you?
I think we talked about the DEF fluid
Yeah, we did.
before.
All right, so seeing
I
no
have a
question.
question.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Joe, in looking at the diagram, why is it 2 separate tanks and not just one, since it's only 500 gallons? I'm looking at this one that's here. Out of curiosity.
I do not know,
Good
but I'll
enough
find out,
answer.
and let you know.
No, because I mean, they're showing 2 separate tanks,
It
and
looks
it's
like they're
only
connected,
500
it looks like they're
gallons.
connected at the top. It looks like they're separate at the bottom, so I'll find out if there's a reason for that specific design or not, but I can let you know.
Okay, because this is probably taking up more additional room instead of just having probably one for it. But there's probably a reason for it. Thank you. That's all I have on that.
Okay. Seeing no further question, we have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Plavas.
Aye.
Chairman Newell.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
Okay, all A's, so motion passed. Next, we have reports for information only. We have the Department of Public Works monthly report. And do we have anything to add, Mr. Neville?
Started brush pickup today, so
Oh,
get your
okay.
brush out.
Okay, good job, okay. Nothing else to add, we will receive and file the report. The next report is Department of Development Services Monthly Engineering Report of the Transportation and Engineering Division. Do we have anything to add, sir?
Nothing to add?
Nothing to add, okay, we will receive and file that. And then we have President's Report.
Yes, there's some upcoming events I'd like to highlight. One is Wine Wednesday will be held at Kyoto Japanese Steakhouse and Sushi Bar located at 4680 Hoffman Boulevard from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. this Wednesday, September 25th. Everyone is welcome, and as always, we'll collect items for our local food depositories. Join us for food and conversation. We have the fire station open house at the Westbury Fire Station at 1300 Westbury Drive. Members of the fire department will be at hand to give tours and answer questions from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's a great opportunity to see what our firemen and women handle on a day-to-day basis and how important they are to the safety of our community. Also on Saturday the 28th, a busy day, the village historian and the Hoffman Estates Museum will have a special program, How We Got Here, from here to there, the story of Hoffman Estates boundaries at the Village Hall from 1 to 3 p.m. Boundary stories are always very exciting and interesting. That's why the boundaries weave in and out. So the historian will have some information for folks on that. The Commission for People with Disabilities welcomes all people aged 14 and older with disabilities to join them for the first Friday event at the Village Hall on Friday, October 4th. The event will feature games, socializing, and food for purchase. The event is free to attend and starts at 6:30 p.m. And the annual Northwest Celtic Fest will be held at the Sears Center Reed on Saturday, October 5th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event offers free parking and free entry and is perfect for kids and families of all ages. Celtic-themed food, live music, and dancing on 2 stages, a Celtic marketplace, kids' games, animal meet and greet, and activities and inflatables, including a trackless train, will be featured. A craft beer tasting is also planned for that day. Also, September 23rd, this is actually the 60th anniversary of the village's Hoffman Estates being chartered by the state of Illinois, September 23rd, 1959. So the anniversary birthday celebration continues. We did have some events in this past week. We had the Village Green Ad Hoc Committee meeting on Tuesday, the 17th. And on Wednesday, September 18th, we had the Senior Fall Luncheon. The Senior Commission always does a great job on that. And then that evening, 5 to 7 p.m., we had business after hours at the Hideaway Brew Garden. Thursday, the 19th, the Children's Advocacy Center had their open house celebrating their 30th birthday at 640 Illinois Boulevard. And that evening, I also attended the Chamber Golf Outing reception at the Bridges of Poplar Creek. And on Saturday, September 21st, we had the 60th anniversary family picnic celebration. Kudos to Chairperson Mills and all the members of the committee, several of them I'm looking at right now, for putting on a great event. We had a lot of people. People had a great time. There's a lot for folks to do. The food was good. The cupcakes were exceptional. And the ball drop was exciting. So kudos to everyone. Also this evening, we had the Community Pride Awards presentation for the 21st year. Our Sustainability Commission puts this on where folks who do such a great job on beautifying their homes are honored. And I think that's all I have for right now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. We have nothing under other and no items in review. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Plavas.
Aye.
Chairman Noel.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
Okay, motion for adjournment, and we are adjourned.
Okay, I'd like to call to order the Public Health and Safety Committee in the Village of Hoffman Estates on September 23rd, 2019. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Gata.
Present.
Vice Chairman Plavas.
Present.
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Mills.
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
I'm present.
Trustee Arnett.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you, and we have a quorum. Under number 2, approval of the minutes of August 19th, 2019.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any corrections? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Vice Chairman Plavas.
Aye.
Chairman Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
Okay, we have no nays, and it is approved. On September 3rd, 2019, approval of those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any corrections? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Vice Chairman Plavas.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Abstain.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
And we have approval of the minutes. Under new business, number 1, request authorization to waive formal bidding and purchase a 2020 Navstar Horton ambulance for the fire department through the Northwest Municipal Conference Suburban Purchasing Cooperative Contract from Foster Coach Sales, Sterling, Illinois, an amount not to exceed $343,803.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Chief, what would you like to add to that?
This ambulance that we're requesting be replaced is the replacement of our oldest ambulance in the fleet. It's currently a 2005 ambulance that is in reserve status at Station 24. The replacement ambulance, this ambulance to be purchased, would be become the frontline ambulance at Station 21, and that would create a move up, the older ambulance, then moving them into reserve status. So if you remember last year, we purchased one towards the end of the year. We did a very extensive research into options and availability of different vendors. We made that purchase last year. That vehicle's been in service for about 3 months. We waited to make sure that that vehicle was what we really needed and met the needs, and it did. So what you see here tonight is basically built off of that same platform.
Well, I know from what I saw, and I've heard what people say as far as this new one, it's excellent as compared to the equipment that is in there and the communications between the hospital and the ambulance and so forth. That, yes, a good choice. And this is going to be similar to the one that you already have.
It'll be virtually identical.
Excellent. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Vice Chairman Plouffe.
Aye.
Chairman Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
And we have approval. Thank you. Under number 2, request authorization to waive further bidding and purchase 7 2020 Ford Interceptor utility patrol vehicles from Kerry Motors, Frankville, Illinois, not to exceed the total cost of $260,084. Low bidder.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Chief, what would you like to add to that one?
Just that what we're bringing in front of you today is our yearly frontline vehicle replacement request. And although the hybrids vehicles are slightly higher in initial cost, we expect that the fuel savings over the life of the vehicle will more than make up the difference. And also the hybrids are in keeping with the village sustainability initiative. So that's why we chose them.
Okay, because usually every time that I see the patrol car, they never turn it off because they have to get going. What happens with this, when they step on the brake, then it automatically goes from the gas to the electric?
Right, after so many seconds.
And it still runs everything that's in the patrol car?
Yes, it runs off the battery then.
Runs off the battery. Any questions up here? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Vice Chairman Plouffe.
Aye.
Chairman Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
Very good. Motion approved. Thank you, chiefs. Under the information only, police report, monthly report, anything to add?
No, sir.
No?
I do have a question.
Okay, received and filed.
Mike, I had a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This way.
Trustee Plouffe.
That way.
Stanton.
On page 2, Chief, top of the page, there's a report about a gentleman kind of showing his butt. What happened on that? What was he arrested for?
I believe it was disorderly conduct.
Okay, I thought that might be something like that.
Right.
All right.
Sorry that I missed that one for you.
It was nobody in this room.
No, it was somebody from Joliet.
Did you find that individual?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you did? Okay. Number 2, Health and Human Services report. Dr. Fasija? Nothing to add? Anything from up here? Seeing none, received and filed. Number 3, Emergency Management Coordinator monthly report.
Received and filed.
Received and filed. And by the way, I did meet that coordinator.
Sarah?
Saturday, Sarah, yes. And then number 4, Police Department monthly report. Anything to add to that, Chief?
No, nothing to add at this time.
Okay. Nothing up here, received and filed. President's report,
Nothing else, Trustee Gata.
nothing in other. Item in review, looking for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in, roll call, please.
Vice Chairman Plouffe.
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned.
Okay, moving right along, I'd like to call the Finance Committee to order for September 23rd. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Plouffe.
Present.
Vice Chairman Newell.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Trustee Mills.
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Arnett.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. Next in line is the approval of minutes for August 19th, 2019.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any additions, corrections? Seeing none, all in favor, let's have a roll call, please.
Chairman
Very well.
Blavas.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved. Under new business, we have 3 items. Item number 1 is request approval of an agreement with Spectra Partnership, which is the AKA Front Row Marketing of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for sale of contractual rights at the Sears Center Arena.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mark, do you have anything to add to this?
Yes. In 2010, the village first started the relationship with Front Row, and that agreement's been amended over the years, and as recently as May 2019, on the advice of Corporation Council, we did an amended and restated agreement, but we did not address the term at that time. The term of the current agreement expires at the end of this year. In August, we met with John Page and several representatives of Front Row to talk about extending the term and continuing the relationship. What we came up with was an extension for a new term that starts January 1st, 2020, goes to December 31, 2025. And that coincides with the term of the agreement with Spectra. And that, excuse me, discussed and decided that made some sense. So the attached agreement is virtually the same as what was approved in May, but does extend the term to the dates that I just mentioned. And I'd also like to mention that the Director of Partnerships, Mike Sopek from Front Row, our local representative, is here in the audience.
Okay,
Say
does
hi,
anyone
Mike.
have any questions for him or anything, or? Okay, well, thank you. Nice and short. Okay. Seeing no questions, we have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Blavas.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed, no nays. Item number 2 is request approval of an ordinance amending Chapter 13, Revenue Taxes and Charges of the Hoffman Estates Municipal Code, the Cannabis Retailers Occupation Tax.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And Mr. Norris, did you have anything?
This
to-
is solely to get the village in line, should the village board at any time in the future determine that a facility would be able to be located in the village of Hoffman Estates. And the village's cannabis expert, Doug Lasota, our associate corporation counsel, has done all the work on this project.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add to that, or?
I think it's pretty clear. As Jim said, currently, the 3% tax that the village can impose would take effect on September 1st, 2020. However, we understand that there's some efforts being made specifically by the Illinois Municipal League to amend the law to allow for the tax to be collected as of January 1st, 2020. And it's presumed that if that is done, that such an ordinance would need to be on file with the Illinois Department of Revenue by October 1st, 2019, 90 days ahead of that implementation date. So this is just to get ahead of that. As Jim said, this is only if the village elects to move forward with allowing cannabis dispensaries in the limits. Whether or not this tax is imposed has no bearing on that
But we have
decision.
something on the books. That's, at least we have an ordinance.
Right, and if the village elects to prohibit the sales, then obviously there's nothing to tax.
Any other questions? Mayor?
So this would be the 3% tax that is allowable?
Correct. That's the maximum allowable amount.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing no other questions, we have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Blavas.
No.
Vice Chairman Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Item number 3, request authorization to enter into a contract with the purpose of upgrading and migration to the community development software as a service enterprise application Track It in an amount not to exceed $211,635.
So moved.
Second?
Fred, can you expound on that?
Sure. The Trackit software is actually the successor to our Community Plus product. Our Community Plus product is, at least from 2001, it's been upgraded over the course of the years. But back about a year and a half ago, our current vendor, SunGard, merged with two other public sector agencies and formed the major conglomerate called Central Square. At that time, their business plan basically said that by 2021, the Community Plus product would no longer be valid. If you were in the cloud, as we are now, they were moving everything towards what people wanted to see, including what our internal staff wanted. From a resident standpoint, we're talking about being able to apply for a permit online, being able to pay for a permit online, being able to see the succession for where the permit is and the status as it's going along, and including the inspections. From an internal side, we're talking about plan reviews, project management, things like that, things that we do not have with our current software. The developer said in order to make this cost effective, they cannot redevelop it in-house. The back end, the actual platform it's on is too old, is too dated. So what we're seeing now is they're going out and they're actually purchasing these companies that have already done the work for them. And this is what Trackit is. When we entered negotiations with them, we brought in Pete Gugliotta from planning, his group, code, and development services, and had a 50,000-foot view of the entire application. We got their buy-in and then had them come out a second time to give them a ground level view. So our code inspectors and the people that were actually going to be out in the field using this software could see it. We got really good feedback for them, so we started talks. We were looking at an 8 to a 16-month time frame in getting this up off the ground, but that depended on certain factors. And one of those factors was taking the old data that we currently have stored and integrating that into the new program. We decided against that for two reasons. The first one was cost. We had originally budgeted enough money in 2019 and enough money in 2020 to cover the entire cost. We thought that was pretty extravagant when we started to look at how much it would cost to integrate some of this data. So we told them what we'd like to do is just keep the current data and archive it and use it for lookup purposes only as far as a history, and start with the new product, brand new, off the ground. That in turn saved us about $80,000 over the whole cost of the project. We have $211,000 is what this project is going to cost between, we're figuring October and October, so October of 2019 and October of 2020. $29,000 is to get it off the ground for this year, and $41,000 next year is to cover the maintenance costs going into 2020 and 2021. The difference between that is actually a little bit hard to stake out because we're talking time and we're talking actual professional services of them coming out, sitting down with staff, finding out what staff actually wants, finding out what staff needs, and trying to make it work and get off the ground. We can't put a price on that for this year. We can't put a price on that for the next year. But we do know it's not going to go over the total of what they had actually said it would. So that's a overview.
This one, the not to exceed, is truly very important. It always is, but in this case, even more so.
Okay, but if we have like questions or problems, they will come out and.
Oh, they'll be with us.
They'll be with us.
They'll be sitting right.
Side by side.
Okay. Trustee Mills?
How much did we budget for this year as opposed to what we're going to have to pay this year?
We budgeted $150,000 for this year and $150,000
Okay.
for next year.
So we're within the
Well,
parameters of what this is going to cost.
We're not going to go over the
Okay.
150 for this year or next year either, so.
Okay. And you feel that this can all be completed then within the course of next year?
If we choose not to integrate the old data, it will be.
Okay, thank you.
No other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Pluffitt.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye.
All ayes, motion passed. Thank you, Fred. Next is the reports for information only. Finance Department monthly report. Do we have anything additional? Nothing? Thank you.
I
That
do
will
have
be
a
received-
question.
Oh, trustee Stanton?
Do we have a reason, Rachel, as to why our home rule sales tax is decreasing?
We do have a reason. I can't get into specifics, but it just appears that across many different industries, we're experiencing a decline in our sales tax revenue. We're monitoring it very, very closely. It's concerning to us. We don't really know why. Again, it's across different industries. It's not just car dealers. It's not just grocery stores. So we're keeping a close eye on it. But yes, both home rule and our regular sales tax revenue are declining.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Okay, seeing no other questions, Finance Department monthly report will be received and filed. Information System Department monthly report, do we have anything to add? Nothing? Thank you. That will be received and filed. And last but not least, the Sears Center monthly report. Anything? Nothing? Okay.
Trustee Noel? Just want to add to the Sears Center monthly
Okay, please
report.
do.
The village did receive the naming rights payment from Holdco Transform in the full amount. That was due by the end of September, so we now have it at 100%. That's $600,000 for the first year of the new 3-year agreement in hand.
Awesome. That's good news.
It is.
And definitely will be received and filed.
It's been received and deposited.
There you go.
Make sure it didn't bounce, right?
President's report, do we have anything?
Nothing else.
Okay, thank you. Nothing under other or items in review. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Plofus.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Anybody want a short 5-minute break, or do you want to keep going ahead?
No, keep going.
One last time.
Keep
Okay.
going.
Let's go for it.
I'd like to call the special board meeting of September 23rd, 2019 order. Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Trustee Arnett.
Present.
Trustee Mills.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present. Anybody please rise. Trustee Newell, you want to lead us in the pledge?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trustee Newell.
You're welcome.
We have one item of additional business. A, request board approval of an ordinance amending Chapter 13, Revenue Taxes and Charges of the Hoffman Estates Municipal Code, Cannabis Retailers Occupation Tax.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion, there's a second. Again, I'd like to emphasize that this is just a tax will be put in place if the village board does allow dispensaries in the village. We'll be able to collect the 3% tax, with the state starting to do that for us starting next year. Are there any questions on this item? Seeing no questions, can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Palafis.
Aye.
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye, motion carried.
Skipped me. Oh, I'm sorry. Trustee Mills.
I vote yes, too.
Okay, I'm sorry. He's been spending way too much time together.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize.
Okay, the vote is done. This
Move
item.
to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion second. Is there any discussion on this? Can you call the roll for the adjournment, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Palafis.
Aye.
Trustee Newell.
Aye.
Trustee Stanton.
Aye.
Trustee Gata.
Aye.
Trustee Arnett.
Aye.
Trustee Mills.
Aye.
Mayor McLeod.
Aye. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.